Just wanted to start with a quick recap, maybe give a little background into how the weekend went before I just show you the video. So this was my 2023 Subaru BRZ. Modifications currently basically just front camber. I have about 2.7 degrees negative camber, 0 toe front rear. Otherwise completely stock, no sway bars, no suspension, no exhaust, nothing. Just brake pads, actually. Hawk Endurance. And I just want to say I definitely had underappreciation for how much harder it is to drive a manual car on track. It's been about 3 years since I've driven a manual car on track, and there's a lot more to it when you're pushing the limit, right? Threshold braking while heel toeing downshift can be a bit difficult. Add to that, driving a new car. Every new car has its own nuances, it's always a learning curve, no matter how much experience you have. To give you some reference, I've been doing this for my first track day was in 2007, so 16 years, and for the past, let's call it 10 years, I've been doing at least 5 events per year. So a decent amount of experience. I don't have that much experience at Sebring. I've only been driving it for a year. I believe this is my 5th or 6th time at Sebring. So I don't have a ton of laps here, but when you've been doing this for this long, you don't need that much track time to get up to speed to be competent. I won't say I don't have time to save, because there's always time to save, but I'm competent. I think here you'll kind of see some of the good things and bad things about this car. It's the chassis. I would definitely give it a thumbs up. The balance of the car, considering its stock, is super neutral. It will oversteer or understeer if you push it in certain situations, but for the most part, it's a pretty well balanced car. Low points from my perspective, oil temperatures. They got hot real fast. I could never do more than 4 laps at a time. And that was definitely something that was in the back of my mind. Next, I would say, was the shifting and clutch. It's pretty vague, in my opinion. Last couple of cars I had were S2000 Miata. They had good feedback. You could feel what was going on. To the point where I even changed shoes, because I was like, hey, maybe it's the shoes. I don't know. I'm just not getting the feedback I want. So I would say it's a little numb on that perspective, and definitely took me a little bit of time to get used to that. But once you just trust it, it's okay. It works. And like I said, the car just has a lot of feedback or grip and balance. So even when you overcook it, you throw the car into the turn, it sticks. Like it sorts its way out. I did drive the car, obviously, with complete traction control off. And let's see, what other feedback can I give? It's quiet. It's really quiet. Most of the noise you'll hear is actually from the sound system, the fake noise, which I left on purpose. Otherwise, you can't really hear it. And with the helmet on, windows down, you can barely hear it. So it actually sounds louder on video than it does in person. So little things like that. I mean, it's a stock car. What are you going to do? So let's watch the video, and I'll recap here at the end of the video with the optimal lap, which is kind of cool. Garmin kind of puts together all the best segments from all your laps that you've recorded, and they give you an optimal. So my personal best was only a 242, but my optimal best would have got me down to a 240, and that sounds about right. Again, I wasn't able to string together a good long session, so I was basically pushing 2 laps per session and coming in, 2 laps per session and coming in. And I think, I'm kind of at crossroads right now. Do I keep the car as is? Do I invest in the car? Or do I say, hey, this isn't the track car I hoped it was going to be, and start something else? So, all right, enjoy the video. Let's see where this goes. right, so that concludes my official best lap. Here, let's take a look and I'll walk you through the optimal lap. So it's a stitched version of all my best sectors put together for a virtual best of 240. And let's do this. So I'll just call out things I observe here. So I like here a later break and entry, so a little bit slower in and faster out. Just gives you more confidence into what's a relatively blind corner, in my opinion. Here I was struggling a little bit with the downshift. You can see this is actually from Saturday. Here in this part of this turn, I prefer to go a little bit wider and then come in. I definitely like tracking out. I see some people that don't track out there to the right. And here we go, full throttle. This is where I really miss the horsepower of the Supra. Again, it's not bad, but you notice it when you get walked by everybody here. This section here is where I struggled again. I didn't want to force it with the oil starvation, put it into second. So really slow, probably giving up a lot of time here by leaving it into third. But it is what it is, and you live with it. Coming down to this section here. Again, I prefer a later turn in. I like going deeper here, getting on the brakes later, and then getting that car to the right, keeping it right. And then it just makes this section really easy. I remember even with the Supra, I could go flat out through this section, a lot of stability. I sort of ignore the corner here, the curb to the right. Makes it easier to get left. Throw it in here. This is one of my favorite turns. There's a little bit of camber, which is rare in Florida, I know. And it's just a pretty fun turn. And this is my second favorite, which is just foot to the floor, get it in there. Yeah, let's see. I think the Supra was getting up to 120 here. 108, not bad. This turn's always a little bit slick for me, probably because I come in a little bit hot, but you know, I've never really had too many issues there. And then the final turn here, again, I prefer a late turn in, use all that curb on the left, full throttle down. Let's see, what type of speed do I get down to? Maybe 119? Bingo, 119, 120 it says. All right, so this is another place where I was struggling. And compared to Supra, I was actually taking a wider turn in and getting on the throttle a little bit sooner. But overall, just the braking is not as confidence-inspiring. And that would have been a 140 or a 240.